So I've had a few days of doing the oil pastels and pastel pencils and other such mediums, and then returned to the charcoal. I've made some more, not unsuccessfully, by the way. So not really. I've had a tin full. Sorry about the noise. A tin full, as you can see, but it's not great. It sometimes doesn't work. That one is the same. They're all sort of fragmented. But I'm getting around that by putting them into my bamboo clutches. So yeah. So today I'm just going to draw faces. I'm going to draw faces all day. Nothing else. And I did it, I think, the other night, which I can't put it away now. The how to draw a face, how to draw a portrait thing, and as a kind of response to something I saw, which is not often the case. And I'm just about to draw a face, and I'm thinking about. I'm just also looked at. Somebody mentioned a passing of a great sort of teacher, watercolorist from the looks like the 70s, and so I checked him out, and it's one of those teachers, the teachers of watercolor, the teachers of drawing and whatever, and there's some kind of weird simplicity about it, sort of a kind of innocence about these things. I mean, it's obvious because it was from the 70s, but I'm talking about the way it's delivered, and it's the way it's the way he talks to the audience, and I just thought, oh crikey, I hope I'm not one of those that sort of says, can you see how that line lies there? Look at how that line there. Look at that bit there. You know what I mean? I mean, I do that. I do get excited about lines and tones and things like that. But hopefully not in such a way that it's kind of it's demeaning to me and insulting to you. It's like, oh, I just don't want to be that kind of. I mean, I don't consider myself a teacher. I just consider myself somebody who's sharing what I do. If that is perceived as teaching, then fair enough. But I don't think of it as teaching. I think of it as, look, I'm trying to help people to discover what I discovered. That's what I'm trying to do. This idea of, well, if you do it like this, and if you do it like that, and if you just, can you see how that line comes down there? Now what I'm going to do, that kind of thing. Oh, gee. I mean, it's tickled me seeing this old video. It just tickled me. And I think, that's the reason why. If that's the the bar, if you like, of doing this, there's no wonder nobody listens to me. Nobody watches me because I don't do that, do I? I mean, you know that I. The furthest from, I've said this all along, I'm not teaching anybody, I'm not teaching full stop, but I'm not trying to illustrate how-tos, which is why the video of the night was a bit of a weird, strange thing for me, to do a how-to. But yeah, so I just thought today I'm gonna draw. I was looking through what happened is that I've got a pile. I've got several piles now that all want to go into folders, and I don't have room for folders, let alone the pile of drawings that I've got. But I was looking through them all, and I was looking at what is it that I like, kind of thing. I'd seen some drawings this morning, and that somebody had done, and it was a drawing of what's that guy from School of Rock, him, whatever his name is, can't think now. That comedian guy, and so I was looking at that and this drawing, and bits of it are absolutely brilliant, but parts of it are completely lifeless. The marks are just deliberate, contrived, engineered, constructed, whatever you want to call it. And to many people, it's fabulous because of that. To me, it's not because of that. You know what I mean? And I was thinking that when I was looking at the my drawings, I'm thinking, what was it that was the key thing that I like? Because this is the fundamental. I think this paper is absolutely shocking. It's like it's some old rubbish that I found in a folder, and I thought, oh, I'll go on that, and it's terrible. It's not taking the charcoal at all. It's charcoal just riding across the surface of it. But oh, just do it anyway. You know what I mean? It'll be what it'll be. So it just got me thinking, what was it that I like about what I do? And as I said, the main thing for me is that you must always like what you do. And this guy who's done this amazing pencil drawing, I think it was graphite, of, oh, what do they call him now? That guy, anyway. It's probably absolutely over the moon with it. And, you know, it's cool. That's how it should be. Which is the thing about, you know, I can't teach you how to do this by saying, can you see how now those lines are doing that? And you know, there's no value in that at all. You know, it's just, we're talking beyond the execution sort of territory. And whilst ever execution is the measure of your success, then it will always be about execution. It'll be the reason you fail and the reason you succeed, and that's like it's just, for me, that's completely wrong way to look at it. And that's from somebody that, and I was thinking about this, the doing thing, that particularly when this guy was talking about watercolors. Now I suffered that kind of indoctrination of it being nothing more than an execution, than the doing thing, and consequently got wrapped up in the doing, you know, to a point where I needed to know. I had to know, and if I didn't follow the rules, or I didn't understand the mechanics of the pigments, you know, the watercolor pigments, then, or if I didn't follow the rules of the watercolor pigments, I wasn't doing it right. And I used that as to beat myself up with, but I also used it as a justification. You know, look at that. Yeah, but I followed the sedimentary and the non-staining and staining rules. I've done that. You know, the people that do that with paint. And it's Fat-Overleen. They'll do, you know, that time that somebody gave me a telling off because I didn't follow that rule. It's the same people. And so, but I was doing that. I was sticking to the rules and following that regime, if you like. And my failure and success depended on it. You know, so which is why I'm like I am now. You know, I really don't have any prerequisite as to how this should go and how it should be done and whether or not it'll succeed. I don't have any of that. So it's a difficult thing. You know, I think it's a liberating thing, but it's a difficult thing to talk about it. You know, if I'm talking to you about it, then hopefully it'll be it'll have some benefit. It may not. It may be that your thing is to make replicas of things, and it can, you know, it can never be more than that. And the justification and the measurement of success is exactly that. It's whether or not you achieve that replication thing. which is cool, because I think most of what this world is about, the art world is about, is the replication. So that the game show, it's on every year. That thing was on every morning. It was Wednesday. It's Thursday this morning. So every Wednesday night, it's on Sky or whatever it is. And I kind of think, oh, I'll watch it tonight, and I never do. And I'm not going to kill myself to watch it, because I hate the thing, but I watch it. I try and watch it. If I can, I'll watch it on playback or something like that. Not recently. I've never really done it recently. I haven't done it recently, because it just infuriates me. You're watching that thing, and not that I'm criticizing the artists. I think the artists are brilliant, every one of them. But I hate the presentation of the show and the entertainment value thingy, all that. Never really like. I mean, with demos, I've done demos, and because I've been to demos. There's one guy that back in the day when it was at the Big House Art Circle, and this guy used to come along, bring his guitar, and used to come along and play the piano, because we were in a church hall. And I hate this kind of Joker entertainment thing. It's just demeaning to artists. But anyway, so they put on every Thursday morning, they put on the last night's efforts, which is your winner. Just that one phrase just winds me up, which is your winner. But there's it's the people. I mean, it's direct, not people like me. It's direct to the Joe public, and their interpretation of art is always going to be, as we say, the realism is the common man's yardstick, and that's going to be the winner. It's going to be the one that looks most like. But it might be me, because everything. There's a couple of people that have been popping up on my timelines, various timelines, that are doing more than just. I mean, they're portrait artists, but they're doing more than just making copies of faces. And in typical Facebook and Instagram style, I'm liking these things, and consequently, that this is what I'm fed by, by the social media numpties, the actual stupid algorithms that will be the death of us. I mean, these algorithms are things that drives AI. So that's the worrying part about it. But anyway, that I won't be drawing any more on this paper today, because it is frighteningly terrible. It's the fact that it doesn't take the charcoal. I think I like the marks that are made with no effort. I like all that, but I just like a little bit more line variance, tonal variance, which it's not happening. You see how grey it is? It's like a graphite thing. But I don't like that. If I try and apply some kind of pressure to it, it's as if it's got a wax surface on the paper, and that's what's happening. So it looks waxy. So I'm going to do today. I'm just going to spend the day just doing this. So I'll probably be on a few times, just rambling on as I do, and talking about various things. I would say that, if anything, if I was trying to help people, I'd say I can't do it in one video. I can't do it in one video because it's not. I don't think of it as a learning program. I haven't got a lesson plan or anything. I'm just thinking of it in terms of sharing what I do. And sometimes I'm in a particular mood, or I'm talking about a particular thing, and other times I'm talking about something else. So it tends to be cumulative. You know what I mean? But I think the fundamental thing, and the thing that I think is nagging me about this guy doing the perfect kind of, this is how you do watercolors presentation thing, is that it reduces it to a process. And for me, the process is only that. It's not the art. And it depends on the subject. A lot of these people that do these kind of things are going to be painting fairly mundane things, you know, the harbour scenes, boat scenes, and, you know, landscapes, and just, you know, you could draw them with your eyes shut, kind of thing. if that's possible. If you follow Picasso's advice, you know, drawing is to be good at drawing, you need to close your eyes and sing. That one. And that's kind of what they are, and that's the thing that niggles me a little bit, and the thing that I just really don't want to come across as. I don't want to come across as that how-to guy. You know what I mean? How-to guy. This is fiction. Drawing eyes in 26 easy steps. I say that because I did find a video that said exactly that, drawing eyes in 26 steps, and that's just so. As I said, that's kind of where I'm coming from with the what I'm rambling on about today, and or now. And the next one I won't be so much, because I just want to get to the point, I suppose, of the motives for doing it. I think that more than anything is that, you know, the thing that lights your fire, the thing that drives you to do it in the first place. I think that's it. I think if you have that, and not everybody has it. Everybody will be drawn to this literally for because they want to be able to do it like so and so. They have an ambition to be able to do it like so and so, and that's fine. I think that's probably 99% of the people that do it are going to be drawn, which is why these videos that show people step by step how to do it are popular. Because once you've learnt that pattern, you can just keep doing it, can't you? But I think more than anything, and it happens to me all the time, I think more than anything is that they need to make sure there's enough mistakes in what you do. If that doesn't sound a bit misleading, you have to make sure, not necessarily in the drawing, although mistakes are good in drawings, but in terms of the outcome. If you're not making mistakes, you're not doing it properly. Basically, what you're doing is you've got to a point where it's very easy to do it, and it's a habit, and you always do it the same way, and really you're disengaged from the creative process, because it's just exactly that. It's just a process. So this pursuit of a way that someone else is going to try and show you it can be detrimental to your development as an artist. It's not detrimental to your development as a production person, in a production drawing kind of artist, because in a way that's exactly what you need to be doing. You need to be following the advice of others, the methods and the techniques and all the rest of it. You need to be following that if that's your bag. And as I said earlier, that's fine. I don't have any problems with that. I think from my point of view, it's a case of, if we don't do something that asks questions or challenges beliefs or breaks out of the norm, then we're not progressing. It's not just doing following the techniques from 400 years ago. It's not progress, is it? It's just being able to do it like Rembrandt did it. Is that something that we should be concerned with? You know, the man was a genius, and so were many others. But just doing it like them, you don't. You know what I mean? You want to be your own genius, not another Rembrandt. It just doesn't add up. But as I said, that's the thing for me with art and doing this, is that I don't want to be just another person that can do charcoal portraits, you know, of faces. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in that, which is why I do what I do, why I sort of explore other avenues, because you know, and all of that is, when I do those things, it's just on a whim. It's not, I mean, practically forced to do those things because of having no charcoal, but essentially there is still, it's, you know, the whim is, do I work in charcoal pencils or pastel pencils or oil pastels or work in oils? I don't work in oils because I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. It just seems like a faff working in oils. You know, I'm going to get all the oils out and it stinks, and then I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered with all that. And as I said, there's just too much technicality to consider with those things. So I do it, and sometimes I will feel the need, if you know what I mean. But I feel the need to work in colour more than the particular medium of choice. It's colour. I'm wanting to work in colour. But that for me is the thing. It's this. What is it you're doing that's special? Is the thing. Yeah, all right. You can draw a perfect beard, and the hairs in the beard are perfect, and all the rest of it, and the nostril hairs are there, and the eyelashes are right, and the color. But what is it you're doing? Just learn a skill. You just learned a skill that anybody else could learn. So that for me is the thing. What is it that's this is why I kind of, some of the drawings have an urgency about them, a lack of which is what I was looking at when I got the folder out. They're just, what is it that's different? There's a kind of an element of non-art in it, if that's the right, you know, art in the sense that we consider it, you know, the drawing skill thingy, and so some of them, there is a lack of that and this is what I'm saying about the what is it that's different. It's probably that more than anything else, that if regardless of the execution, I've said this many times, in regardless of execution, the essence of that individual is captured, then it wouldn't matter whether I was drawing it with my teeth or whether I was holding a pencil or whatever. You know, it doesn't matter. And that is the thing, I suppose, that rubs against the sort of general opinion of this and of doing this, and the need for following procedures. You can't have, you're not allowed to have anything other than I'm trying a different bit of charcoal because this is just not working at all. But you can't have anything other than the predicted norm. You know, and I know I've seen, I kind of, you know, when bad drawings or bad portraits are hailed as naive or contemporary or whatever, contemporary mostly. I get that, but the problem is I've got with that is that you can see the indecision in things. You can see you got to if it's going to be contemporary, it's contemporary from the get-go. It's not contemporary. The outcome is not the determinant of a contemporary. It's a contemporary work. It's the from the get-go. It's the thing about, you know, the creativity that people try to put into the work when they get to the end and start slapping paint all over it. That's not being creative. That's just trying at the end of it. At the end of the super duper drawing that they've spent forever drawing, to destroy it and call it contemporary is like, it's disingenuous, I think. And if I can't see that purity in the intention from the get-go, then it doesn't work for me. So I'm quite happy for it to be badly drawn at the end of it, for it to be a Schiller or what his name is, you know, that kind of vibe. But that's like Modigliani. It's from the get-go. This is why the oil pastels of mine don't work. It's because they're just contrivances. That's what they are. You look at those that I've done recently; they're just contrivances. They're not, you know. It's me being a graphic designer. It's me feeding the norm, or trying to, because they're not particularly good. But it has to come from a different place for it to be honest and genuine, and you know. I don't want to use the word work of art, because I think art is something that's designated by people that don't know what being an artist is or what art is. You know, sometimes it's a decorative decision. You know, that's probably all it ever is, and other times it's a pretension, you know, of reason and a purpose and all that sort of stuff. I don't think that is art with purpose is design, and that's I've always thought about it, but not, you know, if you want to make art or something that is deemed to be art, I don't think it should have a purpose. It just is, you know, art just is, and that's it. It's not a designation, but it comes from within. If you're an artist, it comes from within. It can't come from anywhere else, and it just happens. And that's what I'm saying about the oil pastels that I did. These things, right? These are complete contrivances, right? That's a complete contrivance. That hasn't come from within. It's just me playing around with shapes and being a graphic designer. But it's not even an evolution. I didn't arrive at this. If you noticed, they suddenly appeared. There was just two of them, and they suddenly appeared, just as the other ones did the other week. It's not, and that's, for me, that's not what being an artist is. I think an artist, even though I'm dead against styles, but I think an artist arrives at his destination. It doesn't just suddenly do it. You know, I've got a friend who's a great painter, but it's hit on this. Is it Cassis? He's a great painter anyway. This guy that paints, he did paint. He's dead now, but he painted these Victorian scenes in tram stations and all that kind of thing. And this friend of mine has hit on drawing this style with these particular subjects, and they're just. Prior to that, it still is a great artist. But prior to that, his work was, it was all over the place, but it was just fabulous. It's a bit like, you just sit in front of a canvas or a piece of paper, and then it just comes, and that's kind of what he did. Now it's just they sell. And that's the other thing. You got to be careful who you sell to, because they'll determine who the artist you become, and that's what's happened. So, and how many? And fair play. You got to live, haven't you? And I think that's the shame of it all, that we live in a world where art isn't valued, and so it has to be diluted and deformed in such a way that the world understands it, or will accept it, or will reward it. That's the thing. Anyway, so this is number one of today's drawings, and it's not a very good one, but it's mainly because I'm a little bit distracted by the paper. Shall we say? That's the thing. I'm distracted by the paper. Yeah, as I said, my concern, I think, is the I don't want to come across as somebody that's encouraging a way of doing things that is nothing more than that. I don't want to come across as that. Because I think that the most important thing that anybody who shares their way can do is to help people to find their way. That's the most important thing. And it may well be that you want to, or you think that making copies of faces is the way you want to go, but you don't know really. It's never really been encouraged. This is the thing about art schools. They tend to be places where people learn to do it like somebody else. And no matter what you say about, then they find their own style afterwards. That never happens. It's just not. It's just too. It might happen in other things, but it's not in the art world. It doesn't. It's too the conditioning that people go through. The classical training, and then I saw something today, somebody saying that art is a mixture of imagination and classical training, which is like. Sometimes people say, I mean, I do it as well, but some people say some stupid things, don't they? It's just like, yeah, all right. But that's, institutions will say stuff like that because that's probably, they think they sound clever and they want to justify their existence. And they want you to go along and pay them loads of money so they can teach you the classical way. I've always found, as an artist though, I've always found that if that's your bag, if that's your thing, the classical approach is your thing, you'll find out. You're going to do it yourself. You don't need to go to Florence to find out how to do it. There's that. I'm not particularly a fan of this woman's work, but somebody was saying about this lady called Ruth Ritten, and she had no training, classical training, but she's a really good classical painter, and so without paying for it, she became a classical painter. So it's possible if that's your bag that you can do it anyway. So why would you go and pay them loads of money? But as I said, they try and perpetuate the myth that it is a requirement. But as I said, I'm not somebody that's going to say, right, you need to do that. Can you see these lines? This guy was getting right excited about the fact that the paint was still wet and it was bleeding into the colour and all that kind of thing. I'm thinking, you just need to get out more. That's all it is. It's just, if you get excited about the fact that one colour bleeds into another colour when it's wet, you know what I mean, then you're missing the point, unfortunately. And you just, and then all these people, this is the thing, all these people then go to these exhibitions in a local library, and they're all showing the same thing. I mean, I've been to a few of these, and I was asked to judge one once. I can't do anything like that. I'm just not I'm not somebody that you want to ask to judge work, because I probably tell you it was a lot of crap. But which is the problem I had when I was at university teaching. I tell people if the work wasn't very good. So, and apparently you can't do that. So I don't see why you're there in the first place. But as I said, it was these library gallery type events that these people take their landscapes to. You see, the thing, the flip side to that is that I think it's wonderful that people do it, and that they find some kind of outlet, creative outlet. I think it's fabulous, and the whole industry behind that. The Winsor & Newton selling their the latest iterations of paint, and and these are the people that buy it. It's not professional artists. The people that sustain the big art companies are not what you might consider hobbyists. I'm not really a fan of that word, but that's what they would consider. They designate these people as hobbyists, and that's how they make their their coin, I suppose. But as I said, it's just one of those things. I'm going to be rambling like this all day long today because it's quite a bit I feel a bit introspective today, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I kind of missed the sometimes I miss the sort of pure response aspect of doing this. Working with charcoal and just scribbling kind of thing, because this is a I know I talk about the reset thing. This is what this is today. I think today is a reset for me to get back to what it is that drives me, motivates me, and underpins the stuff that I do. So anyway, this is a complete failure. Not really, but you know what I mean. It's not brilliant, and I think it's just because of the flow of the charcoal. It's not the paint. Oh, it's the paper really that's doing it. So I'm just going to chalk it down to one of those drawings that might be a misfire. Now I tell you what, one of the things that is really critical. Why I think this doesn't work. Look at that area there, right? Because of that, because of the grey and grey and grey and grey. Whereas if, for instance, let me find one of the examples, if I can pull this out and show you what I mean. This is what proper paper is capable of. You get a different. You can see that. You see that and see that. It's the way that things shape according to. I mean, I know it's density. I mean, there, for instance, you can see that it lacks the form, the shape of things, and that's because I don't have the full density. I don't have the full density of the colours. You see that of the charcoal. You see the right there. I mean, I might be able to get it to that stage, but as I try and apply that, I'm getting all excited about the tonal bars. I said I wouldn't, but as I try to apply density to create that kind of thing, I can't. It won't do it. I mean, the image is not that dark anyway, but I can't start to form or give form to the face because it's so grey. I can't do that because this paper will not take that kind of density. It just either, it's like a wax crayon thing. I mean, I can work with it, but it's just not taking it at all. And what I need to do is I need to be able to apply tonal variance with little or no effort, or to manage the tone, should we say, with little or no effort. That's the key to what I do. If I can't do that, I can't feel the shape. I can't feel the form of the shapes or the face, because I can't get to that that level of density. And I know I'm talking about in the same way that I was talking about the wet paper thing, but I'm telling you how it works, basically how that works or how that works. It's because of that control of the tonal value, which you can see on this one here, with little or no effort. That one, this kind of Jesus type of character, I was able to create across his face, across his cheek, the feeling of form. This doesn't have that. It doesn't. You know, it's gone too far there. But I wasn't really pressing that hard on it. So I've got to then come back and tweak it and faff about with it really, but it's not ideal. It's not ideal. So, as I said, I didn't want to talk about the doing side of things, but I probably will later on today. I'm going to switch back to normal paper, and the next one I do is on better paper.